Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first one comes from TimePie5299. Am I the beehole for telling my uncle that I would never be a stepmom after seeing how his daughter treated my aunt? When I, in my 20s female, was 7 years old, I lost my parents and was sent to live with my bio aunt and her husband, uncle, and his daughter, Kylie. Kylie was around 10 when I moved in. She lost her mom when she was 5 or 6, and my aunt had been married to my uncle for a little over a year. So it was a really difficult time for her. But I remember thinking Kylie might get what it's like, a little, but she was very clear from day one, we are not family. One thing that always stuck out to me was how Kylie really resented slash hated my aunt. My aunt couldn't talk to Kylie or do anything without being yelled at. She couldn't do anything nice for her without getting glared at. She'd accuse her of disrespecting her mom by trying to play mom. She'd accuse her of doing stuff that she had no right to do. She'd tell my aunt to know her place. My aunt always understood Kylie was grieving and pushed my uncle to make sure Kylie got enough time with him, but was able to talk to him. They had her in therapy as well. My aunt told me once, when I got upset on her behalf, that some people, kids or adults, can find it hard to see their living parent move on and have a new relationship after they lose the other parent, and Kylie was struggling. A few months ago, I saw Kylie for the first time in 12 years. She could not hide her still existing hatred for my aunt. The way she looked at her, I even heard her tell my uncle that my aunt was nothing to her. And all she did was attempt to steal her dead woman's family. It made me realize just how strong that resentment can be. I also know from my uncle's sister that Kylie is still furious my aunt ever tried to ask her to do anything or issued any kind of consequence for her behavior when she was a kid. The experience of living with them always made me say I didn't see myself ever wanting to date or marry someone with the kids. And having seen her hatred for my aunt at 30, knowing she still resents my aunt for even daring to ask her to do something in the home, it made me realize that while it can be work for some people and have amazing blended families, it's not for me. A few days ago, I came back home for Christmas, staying until the 28th. My uncle was talking about my boyfriend, and then he asked me about this guy at work who asked me out a couple times, and why I never gave him a chance since I thought he was cute, etc. I told him it just wouldn't work, but he kept pushing, and I told him it was because he had kids. He told me that was a strange reason when I want kids, and I said yeah. But after seeing how Kylie treated my aunt, I've decided I would never be a stepmom. My uncle was pissy about it and told me I can't swear off men with kids for that reason, and said he divorced and widower parents deserve to find happiness again. I said they do, and I would never say that they shouldn't have that, but I do not want to be that for them. He said it was rude for me to blame Kylie. Am I the beehole? Hi, OP, you are not the beehole. And yeah, your uncle's right, those people deserve happiness too, and you deserve happiness too. And you raising another person's child is not going to be your thing because your whole life you saw what happened with this little girl. And geez, she's in her 30s and she's still harboring ill will towards her. You would think after she grows up, she'd be like, hey, my stepmom was actually pretty cool and nice to me, and I was kind of a spoiled brat. Maybe I should try to, make up with her. Because from what it sounds like, the stepmom was trying to be a good parent, which you don't hear a lot with step parents. So that sucks that she grew up to be a brat, and it sounds like your uncle enabled her to be this way. And I like how he's like, "Don't blame her. No, blame her. The uncle should have stepped in and told her, to respect the stepmom who's actually trying to be a good parent too." And since that's the example you grew up with, I don't blame you for not wanting to do that. Personally, I have a family member who did marry someone with kids, and it was kind of rough in the beginning, but eventually the kid came around, but the kid was like 15, 14, at an age where they could figure out, hey, this person's cool and not trying to replace the person who they're, replacing but not replacing. But me personally, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It's not my thing. The only way I'd raise someone else's child is if I adopted, but that's me making a decision to raise someone else's child. Same thing if you marry someone, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I don't have that whole, the parent will prioritize their child over me, which they should, but you know what I mean? I want to be able to discipline my child and raise my child to be a good person, and your hands are kind of tied behind your back when it's not your child. I guess it's your child when you adopt too, right? So, yeah, I think that's why I'm cool with adoption, or I would adopt, I mean. So yeah, OP, I don't blame you. I personally, I'm with you. I wouldn't date someone with kids, and you shouldn't be forced to because that would make your and that person's life miserable. And I think it's smart when someone knows their boundaries and sticks to them because that's just a smart thing to do, and make you have an easier life. And our next one comes from Sad Government 8349. Am I the beehole for using money for my family's Christmas presents on a trip for myself instead? I'm a single guy with a pretty decent job. I hope to have a family someday, but for right now, I'm just dating and saving money. For the last few years, I've been using my Christmas bonus to buy presents, to buy my presents, siblings, and siblings' cool Christmas gifts. I am lucky enough to be earning much more than I need, and I have an excellent nest egg going for when I'm ready. My parents and my siblings aren't there. My folks were immigrants, and while they own their own home, and as far as I know, are debt free, they do not have a huge retirement account. My older brother and sister each decided independently to start their families while they were quite young, in my opinion. So, anyway, like I said, I've been blowing my bonus on them for the last while. I paid for my parents to visit their home country. I bought both of my siblings' families a PS5 when they were hard to get. My nephew started university this fall. I got him a new laptop Christmas as a graduation/Christmas present. I do not resent spending this money. I love my family, and I do not expect them to reciprocate. I already buy myself whatever I want. However, I noticed something this year. It was my 30th birthday, and none of them did anything for me. So, I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to go to Asia for New Year's. She is a student, so I'm paying for everything. We are seeing our families for Christmas and leaving on Boxing Day. I got to my parents yesterday afternoon and put my gifts for everyone under the tree. I got everyone a $50 gift card for the movies. There are 12 of them, so that's still $600. My sister-in-law decided to sneak a peek at her gift. She thought I was snubbing her, so she told everyone that I got her a shite gift. Huge fight. I just left and went back to my hotel. Calls and texts nonstop. I was being greedy, immature, callous, the whole bunch of other stuff. I just blocked them. I can spend the next few days as a tourist in my own hometown and then leave. I told my girlfriend what happened with my family, and she has my back. I think they're acting entitled and taking me for granted. I don't think that they're the beeholes, but I don't think I'm one either. Sorry, OP, I'm going to have to disagree with you. While I do agree you're not the beehole because they're not entitled to that money or those lavish presents, they are being beeholes. They are taking you for granted, and that's messed up. They don't try to celebrate anything with you for, your 30th. That's, ooh. And come on, your aunt, I think it was your aunt, basically showed how your family thinks about you when she got a little sneak peek at her gift and started acting indecent. So yeah, they do take you for granted, and I think they just see you as an ATM, OP. I will say this kind of maybe shows me in a bad light. I would be kind of bummed out about a gift card to a movie theater. I mean, I'd be one smitten kitten if I had a like $25 Steam gift card or an Amazon gift card, but maybe your family's into movies and that's a fantastic gift. Personally, I hate going to theaters. Like I was crawls my flesh thinking I'm sitting in someone's DNA and did people, you know what I mean? Did they wipe their butt? Sorry, I kind of just wandered off there. But yeah, OP, enjoy your vacation. I don't know about all of them. I assume the one who got a laptop is pretty chill, not hounding you, but your aunt kind of ruined everything. Or maybe your whole family's that way. I don't know. But enjoy your vacation. And it's a great thing that your girlfriend has your back. It's nice when, the person you're with is actually with you versus these other stories where they're like, no, you should have done this and you were the bad person I'm supposed to be with. So, yeah, enjoy your vacation, OP. Your family showed you who they really are and what they think of you. It's up to you how you approach it now. And our final one comes from Holiday Hummus. Am I the beehole for making my nephew apologize immediately in front of his friends? I, a 33-year-old male, am staying at my grandparents' house for the holidays. My grandparents passed away and the house was maintained by their children, making it into a communal space for all family members to use. The rooms are usually saved for those who visit from out of town, like me. I have a cousin, Frank, a 34-year-old male, who was also visited but stayed somewhere else. We were close growing up. Frank was married to his high school sweetheart, Kim, for 10 years, with a 6-year-old daughter. Kim passed in an accident just over a year ago. Frank was more than devastated. What set Frank apart from most guys I know was how deeply he loved his wife. He was an exceptionally happy married man. His goodbye phrase to me in private or in public was, "See ya, you miserable single loser, later." He was making fun of how I never had a long-term girlfriend. I always took it in good fun. It was nice to see a guy so devoted, given that my parents and more than half of my aunts and uncles divorced. A few days after I stayed at my grandparents', my nephew Tom, a 17-year-old male, showed up with a few friends wanting to watch a movie. Tom lives with my sister nearby. I ordered the boys some pizza and joined them. A bit later, Frank dropped by, wanting to catch up with me. We stayed in the same room and talked. Frank seemed to be doing much better since the last time I saw him, a month after Kim's funeral. Once the movie was finished, Tom asked if they could hang out in the room for a while, and I said yes. Frank, however, excused himself, saying he needed to pick up his daughter. We hugged goodbye, and Frank was about to leave when Tom said, "What? None of that miserable single loser stuff? Welcome to the club. I guess now you're a miserable single loser too." I could see the colors drain from Frank's face, and he looked like he was going to pass out. I immediately turned to Tom and told him to apologize now. Tom said, "Why should he apologize? I only raised my voice with, 'Now!'" Tom glared at me, but finally looked away and softly said sorry to Frank. Frank just left. Tom's friends mumbled about how they had to go and quickly cleaned up and left, Tom leaving with them. Later that night, Tom's father called me from across the country, reprimanding me that I should not shame Tom in front of his friends like that. He said he understood what Tom said was insensitive, but being scolded like a child in front of his friends was not how I should have handled this. I could have waited and have Tom apologize later. Am I the beehole? First of all, OP, you are not the beehole. Tom and his father are beeholes. The father is more of a beehole. And apologize later? You think he's gonna want to talk to Tom later after, that reaction that he had about his wife? That poor guy, man. But yeah, I don't feel bad for he was 17. That's old enough to know what you said was wrong, and old enough to know you shouldn't have even said that in the first place. Come on, you're basically an adult. You're not that stupid. Well, I was stupid in my 20s and stuff, but I would know better to not do that. And yes, he should have immediately apologized there and owned up for what he did. His father's teaching him the wrong lesson. Acting, you know what he's going to remember? He's going to remember that shame, and he's not going to mess up like that again. So, no, OP, you are not the beehole. I believe you did the right thing, and yes, he should have apologized for that immediately in the moment, instead of acting like a brat. Because he was acting bratty, doing that whole glaring at you. No, don't glare at you like that. You effed up. You gotta own up to it and apologize. Jeez. Yeah, OP, no, not the beehole. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.